Hi everyone, thank you for coming to Ausi.Darshan. I've been living in Australia over 2 years now and I've noticed that we Indians amass a lot of hate from people all over the globe. Not just from Australians. Largely because of the 7 things I'm going to talk about. And to be honest, these reasons are not unreasonable. First, talking loudly. We Indians often have very loud conversations, be it speaking on the phone or talking in a group. Speaking loudly comes very natural to us. It's like our default setting. I've seen so many Indians in public spaces like trains, parks, talking loudly and getting stares from the locals. Aussies don't like loud voices. They see it as us disturbing their peace and invading their personal space. Trust me, unlike Indians, Australians are least bothered in listening to other people's conversations that do not concern them or knowing what's going on in other people's households. So talk softly in public spaces and keep your conversations to yourselves. Second, cutting in line or jumping the queue. This is something I've seen so commonly being done by Indians. Jumping the queue at airports, train stations, restaurants, everywhere. I have to ask, why? What in the world are you in a hurry for? Where do you think you want to reach by saving just 2 minutes of your time? Unless there's an emergency. When you cut in line, you disrespect the time of every single person who waited patiently for their turn. You're essentially telling them that my time is more important than yours. This is definitely not taken nicely by Australians and shouldn't be either. The fundamental idea of a queue is first come, first served. You come early, your turn comes early. As simple as that. So wait patiently for your turns, mates. Third is standing too close to each other in a line. I've noticed that we Indians stand very close to the person in front of us in a queue. Sometimes we stand so close that we are almost touching the other person's body and literally pushing into the other person. I remember seeing this all the time in the Delhi metro back in India. But seems like some people have brought this habit along with them even after moving here. This thing isn't considered acceptable here in Australia or in any part of the world. Standing too close can make people feel uncomfortable. It may look like you're invading their personal space and it can also seem as aggressive. So a friendly reminder, you don't need to worry about losing your spot in a queue and push the other person in front of you. Just try to maintain an arm's distance. It's a simple way to show respect of the other person's personal space. Fourth, a common problem, staring. This one is a special shout out to all the Indian aunties and uncles who I've seen have a habit of scanning a person from head to toe. They stare so intensely that the other person can feel it and often becomes visibly uncomfortable and embarrassed. I mean, why do we do this? Don't we realize that the other person can feel us staring at them? Honestly, if you need to be aware of who's standing next to you or in front of you or around you, just take a quick glance for a second or two and look away. There's no need to stare them down. In Australia, making prolonged eye contact or staring at someone is considered very rude and intrusive. It can make them feel really uncomfortable. So let's make a conscious effort to be aware of our gaze. A quick friendly smile is fine. People appreciate that. But let's avoid the long, judgy stare. It's not cool. Fifth is feedback or complaints of customer service. In India, it's common to see people look down on or speak rudely to the customer representatives, like those in call centers, restaurants, or stores. Sometimes we don't treat them with equal respect, and I've seen this habit being continued by Indians in Australia as well. And to be fair, it's not just Indians. There are people from other nationalities who do it as well, but this is something that Australians highly dislike. They have a belief system that everybody doing their job, irrespective of what the job is, should be treated respectfully and equally, which is great. Here's a perfect example to illustrate this. If Australians go to a restaurant and they do not like the food there, they will rarely complain or send it back. More often, they will not eat the food, but they will pay the bill and quietly leave. They might not return to the restaurant again, but they will avoid a confrontation and will leave without complaining. Now, I'm not saying that you should never provide a feedback. I strongly believe that honest, constructive feedback can help businesses grow. My advice is that if you're not happy with the service, it's okay to say so, but do it politely. Start with mentioning the things that you appreciate in their service and then slightly make a shift to the issues you found. Do that calmly. Don't raise your voice, don't make a scene, and never personally attack the staff. They are just doing their job, like you and I. Sixth, bargaining. Another habit that we bring from India is the urge to bargain heavily. Back home, negotiating the price is the normal way of shopping, from street markets to the bigger shops. But in Australia, the price you see on the tag is generally the final price. Trying to haggle at a department store or any retail shop is seen as very awkward and disrespectful. It can seem across as if you're trying to get something less than it's worth, which can feel like you're devaluing the product and the seller's work and effort. 7th, bragging or showing off. Another thing I've noticed is our tendency to talk a lot about our own achievements, our children's achievements, our family success, bragging about what we own or what our father owns or how much something costs. But in Australia, this is perceived as bragging or being arrogant. Australians value a culture called tall poppy syndrome, which means that people who think that they are far better than the others are frowned upon. Aussies like humility. They generally believe that your work should speak for itself. You don't need to keep blowing your own trumpet. That was all for this video. If you think I've missed any reasons why Australians might judge us, then let me know in the comments. I read and reply to all of them. Also, check out my other videos on Australia. I bet you'll find them very helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.